Island conservation was born out of the devastation witnessed by two biologists who, while visiting remote islands, saw firsthand that the birds they were studying were under attack by invasive species. They realized that if they didn't take action, these species would not survive. Luckily, these visionary biologists saw a simple solution: remove the invasive species to permanently protect native island plants and animals. To stem the tide of extinction, we need to increase the rate of island restoration projects and bring our cost-effective, proven strategy to scale. Bold action must be taken immediately to protect species from extinction. Island conservation's goal is to protect hundreds of threatened plants and animals on more than 100 islands and help others save thousands more. To do so, we launched Small Islands Big Difference, a campaign to save our world's most vulnerable species. In partnership with governments, non-governmental organizations, and island communities, Small Islands Big Difference is generating increased policy support, financial support, and demand for island restoration projects. What we do is realistic, pragmatic, and lasting. Removing invasive species from islands works. It's like hitting an island's reset button. Because nature is so resilient, a one-time investment has significant long-term benefits, often with little or no additional work. This work is valuable. No, it's critical. Removing invasive species from islands prevents extinctions, improves people's health, and helps governments meet international commitments. It's also cost-effective, bolsters local and global economies, and creates and safeguards jobs. In fact, the economic cost related to invasive species has been estimated at $1.4 trillion annually. That's almost 5% of the global gross domestic product. There's ample evidence that the removal of invasive species is an effective, low-cost solution for saving threatened plants and animals. This is well documented in Island Conservation's database of island invasive species eradications. We've also assembled the Threatened Island Biodiversity Database, a comprehensive hub of information about threatened plants and animals on islands at risk from invasive species. These tools are on the web and are available to everyone at no cost. They help prioritize where to target efforts to maximize the prevention of extinctions. We're able to directly measure the tangible impact of our conservation actions. Our scientists document the native plants and animals present on an island before the removal of invasive species. We then confirm that the removal was successful and quantify threatened plants, animals, and island systems recovery. These biological surveys help us track the success of our techniques and compile evidence of the efficacy and cost-effectiveness of island eradications. We publish peer-reviewed scientific papers, best practices, news, and we provide solid metrics that demonstrate success to funders and partners. Most people don't realize that the current extinction crisis is concentrated on islands. 80% of all extinctions that have occurred in the last 500 years have been island species. Just look at the islands of Hawaii, where nearly two-thirds of its native birds, 71 species, have been lost to extinction forever. Yet there is hope because these conservation strategies work. 40% of the plants and animals threatened with extinction rely on islands, and invasive species are their primary threat. But we can remove invasive species and we can save native plants and animals from extinction. In our first 2 decades, we worked on 52 islands around the world, protecting almost 1,000 populations of at-risk plants and animals. For example, the Pinzone giant tortoise was unable to breed in the wild for more than 150 years due to predation by invasive rats. Today, with the rats gone, the tortoise is once again reproducing in its natural habitat. And on Alaska's Rat Island, we restored critical habitat for 15 species of seabirds, like the extraordinary tufted puffin, by removing invasive rats in 2008. As a result, the native Aleut people had the island's original name, Howadaw, officially restored. Overall, The fact that island species are at the center of the extinction crisis isn't well known. When you study the data on where extinction is occurring and what the main threats are, it's apparent that removing invasive species from islands is a tremendous conservation opportunity. One challenge in fully seizing this opportunity is the lack of capacity on a global scale. There are only a handful of other conservation practitioners focused on this issue, and many nations with the most at-risk plants and animals lack the experience, the technical expertise, the staff, and the resources needed to safely remove invasive species from their islands. We're training practitioners and leveraging resources to fully capitalize on this unique conservation opportunity. We'll maximize the opportunities created by the Small Islands Big Difference campaign to save our world's most vulnerable species. Through the campaign, we're leveraging hundreds of millions of dollars of public funding for island restoration projects, which will protect thousands of plants and animals on 500 of our world's most at-risk islands. We're also elevating the understanding of this unique conservation opportunity amongst governments, aid agencies, and local communities. And this is leveraging even more support and demand for island restoration projects. New, innovative conservation methods and techniques are needed to prevent extinctions at a global scale. We'll invest in research and development and trial these new technologies to save species from extinction in ever more complex settings. We'll also develop the capacity to move threatened species to islands that have been made safe for them. In addition, we will establish new field offices in regions such as Africa and Asia, and train a global network of practitioners skilled in invasive species removal and island restoration.